This Guitar Interactive magazine feature is brought to you by PRS Guitars.
So hey guys, Jonathan Graham here for Guitar Interactive Magazine, and we are sitting here with one half of the mighty Shinedown. We're with Zach Myers, Brent Smith. I almost said the Hall and Oates of Shinedown, but
Bring it on.
But I don't want to preempt some late stage.
Thanks for having us, by the way.
Yeah.
Much appreciated, man.
Hello
Thank
again.
you.
Good to see you again. We just saw
Absolutely, mate.
We don't normally lean back in interviews. This is a first. This is
Yeah, I
nice.
feel,
You've settled this down a
feel
little
comfortable.
bit. Yeah,
Good.
it's very nice.
Well, that's what we want, and I mean, you guys deserve to feel super comfortable after that hard work there you just did over the weekend at Download, which doesn't feel like it could be hard work for you guys, eh? Right now,
No, we're always waiting for something to kick us in the ass. We can't lay back too much.
Yeah.
No, we were stoked to play. We love that festival, but we love the UK.
Absolutely, no, for sure. And we were just talking there just before everything kicked off, and of course, 365, one of your new tracks that come out just at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Incredibly special moment for between yourselves and the crowd. Such a touching moment. Playing new music like that and seeing that reaction this point in your career. I mean, I take it that never gets old.
What do you think about that?
No, my favorite thing is, I tell people all the time that we have the greatest job ever because, if you're an actor, you make a movie, you don't get to be in every theater. We get to watch us perform these songs to people, some people hearing them live for the first time. My favorite part about After Download was seeing all the people tagging us in themselves crying. And I just reposted all of them from the Shinedown page. It's to be at a big festival like
Shinedown, they'll make you cry.
Yeah, I mean, to be at a big festival like that, and listen, we know what we are, we're not going to change that either. So, they've been getting screamed at all day. Well, for the most part, there's a lot of screaming going on up there. It was a heavy day.
Yeah.
And we go on and kind of do our thing, and to see people go, "Damn it, Shinedown, you made me cry!" Like I like that. I like that we can bring that out in people.
Absolutely.
I think that's what music does. There were so many great bands on that day, so to get that reaction from fans that feels good to us.
But every aspect of the band for the last 20 years has always been built around authenticity. Like, we don't walk into any of the writing sessions when we make these records because we want to win an award.
Yeah.
We're writing the songs because we have something to say. And we feel compelled that we really do have an incredible audience that's growing each and every year, it seems. So we take that really seriously, that they allow us to be ourselves. They've given us a platform to do so. So we're never going to phone anything in as far as the artistry.
It certainly doesn't feel that way. And of course, with Dance Kid Dance, it's like two sides of the coin there. I mean,
Yeah.
is that representative of the...
Well, that was a response of people basically saying, can these guys still do it?
Okay.
In a lot of ways. They were like, do these guys still play rock music? We were like, what?
Interesting.
What are you talking about? We play all music.
Now, you say that, who's saying that? Are you seeing whispers of that on social media?
Yeah, like you'll see things here and there, and obviously, there's people that are critical and what have you. We will post and go sometimes, and then sometimes we'll look at certain things.
Yeah.
And if I can be so British for a moment, we love to take the piss out of people. So we do it in the spirit of fun, though.
Yeah.
So Dance Kid Dance. Also, honestly, we wrote that song for us.
Okay.
Just because we wanted it. We didn't have a song like that. And we wanted to have a song with this really wicked breakdown, post-chorus and all this. So we kind of put that together because we wanted that song so we could play it live.
Yeah, of course. So with them being very kind of different types of tracks, is it at this stage with you guys, look, we'll write some songs as they come, and then if it becomes, because obviously normally when you're putting a record out, it's a real collection, and sometimes they're even almost concept and
The last two records of ours have been concept.
yeah, absolutely. So with this, is the process a little bit different this time? It's just like, once you feel something's hitting, let's just get it out there and let people enjoy it.
Yeah, we've never done a record like this where it's like, usually when we make a record, the record's done, the artwork's done, photos are done, here's your single, we're announcing the record. And this was different. That's we did that on purpose. We didn't, you can only be so formulaic for so long. We've done it the same way for 7 records in a row.
Yeah.
So this one is definitely not a concept record. And yeah, it's when we think that the first 2 things we put forth were the best representation of who we were at that time, who we are at this time right now. And I think that's the way music should be, and I think the next 2 that we're going to put forth are just expound on that. And they're more a collection of these next 2 songs we're going to put out are also what's going to be on this record and what this record kind of has a vibe.
Brilliant. And when are we going to get to the other?
July. Well, July will get the next 2 songs, so you have 4 songs total.
Yeah.
And then announce fall, like late fall of this year, like around November, and the record, fingers crossed, March.
Wow.
2026.
Brilliant. So it's a nice big. I mean, it needs to be a big run up for you guys because you're never off the road. I don't think there's more than a couple of days before you're floating this show.
I mean,
The last 2 years, we've learned to pace ourselves a little bit. I think COVID helped us pace ourselves and learn how to. I think that
Me and you?
not me and the band Shinedown. Him and I are never off the road together.
Yeah.
And we're playing a show tonight, just him and I. Yeah, I think that last year we only did 12 shows. That was like a nice break, but I think we're ready to go. Now.
Yeah.
And this tour this year's going to be all together 40 something shows with the Euro shows to it. Maybe we may add more later in the year. Possibly, we'll see.
See how it feels.
Yeah, so I think, and then next year will be full on. I mean, next year will be a heavy touring year.
Well, I don't want to dwell too much on the new stuff. I'm just excited as a fan, so I'm looking.
So are we.
Yeah,
We're excited. We're excited.
Well, that's what you want to hear, you know what I mean? Because it's not to name any names, but we know some people it's a bit formulaic and it's just putting out because that's what you do. But with a lot of bands, it feels like a mistake. It's to only put it out really if you feel you've got something to say, you know.
Yeah, and another thing too is the reality for us is Shinedown is everyone's band.
Yeah.
So, going back to the Planet Zero record, we had a song called A Symptom of Being Human, and we were able to internationally cross that album or that particular song on the album across multiple formats. Like in America, we were on 5 different formats, from pop to alternative to rock to, hot AC, mainstream, and what have you. So you broaden it out. 365 is doing internationally the same thing, where it's, the way that we've always looked at this band in particular is we're very much rock and roll to the bone, and there's an attitude around that, and there's a community there.
Yeah.
But we want as many people as possible to know who the band is. So we've kind of always been a non-formulaic band.
Yeah.
And we cross genres. It's a big ocean of creativity. Like, we'll swim, with all the fishes.
Yeah, no, and it's working fantastically for you. I mean, I don't think you'll be running out of space for those #1 plaques, that's for sure. With 365, Zach, that opening guitar part, definitely very reminiscent of some Def Leppard vibes on there. Like, are you using the Rockman on there?
It's not a Rockman, but it is a similar chorus to that, yes.
Yeah.
But also, we ran that by Def Leppard very recently,
But this is fascinating.
and they said, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So-
but it's fascinating that
I hear it.
Did you hear it in the beginning? You just didn't tell me?
No, I've always heard it.
I never heard it.
He doesn't hear it.
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
I don't, like, when I saw the comments about it, I was like, never thought about that at all.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is, like,
I thought we were going to actually end up co-writing a song with Def Leppard.
Yeah.
I was going to see our names with their names on it.
And we
we ran it by them, and they were like, "Don't worry."
It just felt like a lovely nod to another great
No,
song.
I love that it feels like that.
I mean, listen, there's not a person in this band who isn't a critical Def Leppard fan.
Yeah.
Like, we just went to see them. We played a festival in Ocean City, and they played the first night, and we played the second.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them to take us out next year when they do international touring right now.
We're trying to do stadiums with Def Leppard.
Hey, by the way, hi. Hey, guys.
They couldn't have been. They couldn't have been.
They couldn't have been
to
cooler.
us. And not like, oh, these guys are nice for being in Def Leppard. Like, they were just so sweet to us. And honestly, like, on days off, we've been around each other so much. On days off, we kind of usually go and do our own things. Like, I don't remember the last time the 4 of us went to like a event together that we didn't have to show up at.
Yeah.
All 4 of us were there, all standing together on the side of the stage watching the show. Joe Elliott came up in the middle of the show on the platform.
Amazing.
It was
They sound fucking great.
We were
Still,
teenagers, though. All of us, we couldn't, but they were so awesome to us. Like, they were so great.
Bruce did a video on our Instagram or our TikTok or something, but it's like all 4 of us just like singing along, like headbanging to, like, I mean, as far as songs go, as bands go, there's not many better bands. I don't think.
Oh, no.
I mean, you think about a song like Hysteria, or
An album like Hysteria.
yeah, we always talk about that song. Like, it's like, okay, you think, oh, this is a great chorus. You're like, that's not the chorus, that's the pre-chorus. Okay, well, this chorus is great. That's not even the chorus. That's the second pre-chorus.
Yeah.
It's like there's 4 choruses in one song. It's like it's so good.
You know what? Just
Photograph is like the perfect example.
for sure, and you've got me just thinking, because that way that's such an art that, sometimes you can get some songs and you go, oh man, the chorus is so great. I'm not that keen maybe on the verse, but the chorus sort of hypes it up. What for you is like the ultimate verse, bridge, chorus song in your
There's a lot
collection?
of them.
Photograph.
Photograph.
I mean, dude, Photograph is 3 choruses. Like, it's like, you're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the opposite of that one for me is, and I'm not, because it's such a good song, but I've always joked that Burning for You by Blue Oyster Cult, the chorus is like amazing.
Yeah.
But it's actually the weakest part of the song.
I would probably say like Hell's Bells is a great verse, pre-chorus, chorus, you know, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, kind of a bridge slash solo back to the chorus.
Yeah,
You know,
It
I mean,
makes you want to punch people in the face.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, the one that came for me there was I Want to Know What Love Is. I mean, it's just not got a,
Yeah, dude.
you know, it's just got no, there's no drop off. You know, you just like, is that a chorus? No, it's the next part.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be Photograph for me.
Yeah.
And then not just because I saw him, but you think about that, like the verse sounds like a chorus. And then the pre-chorus,
Yeah.
see your face every time I leave. And then you get to the chorus and you're like, there's 4 choruses in that song. It's insane. Pete, you're not realizing this, what I'm telling you. Listen to how great that song is.
yeah, that's it. Look, and we got him to pick one that wasn't an Oasis song, which is
Like a,
But
you know.
let's see if we're gonna do that. Come on.
Yeah,
There's
no,
a lot of those.
Of course it is. Of course. Now, one of the benefits of being a band that has such longevity is, you know, you're now seeing generations of people, new generations coming through and reacting and taking in your music that a generation before experienced. So a song like Devour, for instance, when it came out, had incredibly strong meaning at the time, but you sort of feel like even as the world is developing and changing, in some ways it's even more relevant now. Well, my perceived meaning of the song, I mean, I guess that's an element to it as well. How is that for you guys, like seeing these songs through the eyes of like a new generation now, and how some songs can be sort of reinterpreted? And is there a song in your back catalogue that you're surprised has had a second life?
I don't know if that's hit us just yet. I think the Deftones are seeing that. I think Creed's seeing that. Nickelback definitely. Limp Bizkit probably the most right now. I don't know if we're at that stage just yet. In 2028 will be the 20-year anniversary of the Sound of Madness album. But like we're still very relevant in regards to like new music.
Believe It Whisper's a fucking banger, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know,
What's this, 23 years
Yeah.
this year?
yeah, you know.
I forget about that record from time to time. I haven't gone back and listened to it quite some time.
Why'd you forget about it?
Because it was the first one. Like, and like, I think about where I was when that was written and the time of, you know, in my life at that point. And then I kind of like see where we are now. I look back, you know, on it fondly.
Yeah.
You know, there's always that quintessential thing. You get your whole life to do your first record. And, you know, if it's successful, you'll get 6 months to do your second one. And that's exactly what happened.
How was it working with Beato?
Oh man, he's great. Like I could not be a more, man, he found not one lane, like he took all the lanes. Like he's just a great guy. I mean, he's got so much experience. People don't realize this about Rick. Like Rick, when he was in his 20s, he was like a professor in college.
Yeah.
You know, and then he had a band called Billionaire. And I think that they had one record.
Yeah. Played shows with Billionaire.
Yeah, and then he moved, you know, from, you know, upstate to Atlanta. And that's when he started, you know, producing and writing and what have you. And then, you know, met his wife and what have you. And what he has carved out for himself is really extraordinary. But he's a very, very educated, very articulate, very artistic as well. In what he does, and just as a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
He's badass.
Have you ever worked with him over the years?
Beato, yeah. I've worked
Yeah.
with Beato a couple times.
Yeah. And so is he really, like, it sounds like he must be, like, is he incredibly collaborative? Does he come up with good ideas?
Yeah, no, I mean, he doesn't write
He doesn't
anymore.
really write anymore.
Yeah.
He's pretty much the YouTube thing is kind of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's just, you can, I mean, like, if you know him and you ever met him, you could he's a very educated person, just in general. But also, if you watch the YouTube channel, you gather that within the first 5 minutes. Like this guy, there are people on there who can really kind of sift through and kind of wade through it and maybe not know what they're talking about, but get away with it. That guy definitely knows what he's talking about with everything he speaks on, which is great. And I think that's why he gets so many people on that show, because they know that he's going to ask good questions, and he's going to ask questions like, sometimes.
Look, when you get Maynard 4 times,
Yeah, you know, like
you're doing
sometimes in
something
this
right.
job, it's like we have questions in our head that we probably want to be asking, like maybe no one asks. So,
Yeah.
you know, that guy's going to ask that question.
Fair enough, yeah.
It's like, you know what? I want people to ask what kind of tape machine we used on this because I think it's cool. You know, and then he's gathered a bevy of fans who like enjoy listening to those stories, including me.
Absolutely.
The last clip I saw about the drummer for Counting Crows when he told that story on there is one of the best stories.
Which one?
I've heard. Adam is on there talking about when they recorded Mr. Jones, and I believe Steve was maybe their drummer at the time.
It's always Steve.
And the guy, and he goes, and he hated Mr. Jones. He thought it was a country song. He didn't want to play it. So T-Bone Burnett comes in and goes, man, he goes, I know you don't like that song. He goes, don't worry. He goes, you don't have to track it again.
Yeah.
Oh man, thanks. He goes, we got this guy to come in and track it for you. And the guy was like a big fan of this drummer. The guy just came in and nailed it in like 2 seconds.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, I love that. That is those hearing those stories from bands making records from his page is pretty good.
But our A&R from back in the day just gave he speaks with him quite often. Our A&R back in the day, a gentleman by the name of Steve Robertson, he talks to Rick, and I just got Rick's new number, but I haven't called him just yet.
Fair enough. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna ask him to come out of retirement, write a song with us.
Oh, interesting. You're very, very good. Yeah, I mean, well, I'd love to hear one of the songs he worked with you coming out of retirement in the set. In Memory, that's one we haven't heard from for a long time.
I know. So we did Stranger Inside with him. We did In Memory with him. He produced he didn't write it, but he produced All I Ever Wanted on the first album. And then he worked, we did Son of Sam, which was on the deluxe for Sound of Madness.
Yeah.
And I wrote with him quite a few times, and there were some songs that never saw the light of day. And then probably the most famous one was Lost in the Crowd off the first record, you know, which he did a spot in his on his YouTube page about when he wrote that song with me back in the day.
Do you think we'd ever hear In Memory back in the set? Is that one that...
We did a version of In Memory that our bassist, Mr. Bass, actually transposed.
We did an
and
acoustic version.
yeah, it was actually really, really cool.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you know, I guess so. Now both you guys, you know, started off real young, you know, getting into the business at such a young age. Now you're the sort of band that I guess constantly people are trying to put you in boxes all the time. You know, from when your first albums come out to the 5th to the 7th. Looking at those early stages, did you feel like when you were coming into the music industry that there was that pressure to fit into a box? And if so, how did you manage to maneuver out that way to get your own voice as a musician?
I think how you ended that was his voice. You know, like if I have a favorite thing about our band, I love our fans. I love that our songs mean something to people and they take them on as their own. My favorite thing about our band is I've never heard one person say they sound like blank. And I can do that with 100 other bands. And so that's probably the most proud thing I have in this band. I've never heard any person go, they sound like this, or they sound like this, or they sound like this. We've always just been Shinedown. And to me, having your own identity, you say it all the time, when you hear his voice, you know it's a Shinedown song.
Absolutely.
And that's like, there's not a lot of bands you can do that with, especially nowadays. And so when we were coming up, to have that, I don't know if you want to call it an edge or what, but to have him and have his voice and go, oh, that's a Shinedown song. You know it's a Shinedown song. That's in a world where when we were coming up, there's so many active rock bands. Which is, you know, that's when we started out. That's what we were. I think we've come a long way since then, and now we play. We're still a rock and roll band, but we can cross. Again, we've crossed 5 formats, crossed 5 genres of music. But to have that there's no better example of setting ourselves apart, for sure.
I think a lot of that too, though, comes from the fact of, like, I remember in the beginning stages of the band, there was a lot of, hey, listen to this, this is what's hot right now, this is what people are listening to, this is what the kids are all about. So there was, you know, because I needed to try to get the band, you know, at least in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I would find myself kind of like trying different styles and what have you. But in all honesty, I think the person that helped me the most with it was Rob Cavallo during The Sound of Madness. Because one of the things with Rob was and this is back in the days when CDs were still a thing, but Craig Cowman at Atlantic Records gave Rob all of these discs and basically said, just listen, these are, artists that are on Atlantic. If anything, if there's something in there that you dig, let me know. And it was just a sea of, compact disc and what have you.
Yeah.
And somehow he, one of the discs was Leave a Whisper. And he put it on and listened to it and kind of thought about it a little bit. And then he talked to our A&R. I went over and met Rob and we had a pretty good talk and what have you. I won't go into the, the depth of kind of what happened, but met him. And then 9 months later, we were making a record with him. But the thing about him was he goes, look, I get what they were trying to do on these 2 records, Leave a Whisper and Save Me, or excuse me, Us and Them. He's like, they're fine pieces of work, but we got to figure out what you actually are and who you actually are, because there's something inside of you that you've not unleashed. And he helped me find my voice in a lot of ways. He was like, quit trying to sound like somebody else, sound like you. So he kind of was the first guy that really gave me that confidence to do that.
Interesting. And just to touch on that a little bit, because it's one thing to try and do that, but to actually make it happen is a whole other thing. I mean, did you notice a difference sonically, like when you were hearing these recordings back, you were like, I can hear a change in
during Sound of Madness?
Yeah, just
oh my God.
yeah.
Oh.
You knew it was an animal in a cage. Like,
Wow.
It was,
Yeah. That an animal in a cage that didn't wait on anybody to let it out. It just broke out.
Yeah.
It was time. That was a defining record for us in regards to learning how to make a record. But Rob will say this too, and Doug McKean, God rest his soul, who was the engineer on a lot of our stuff from that record on. I think more than anything, Doug and Rob, they were constantly always reminding everybody that was working on the record, this wouldn't be the record it's going to be if these songs didn't exist.
Okay.
The whole reason they decided to do it was because of the songs. And we were still, what a shame and cry for help. We were, the other thing too that people don't realize about this record, that record took a year to make.
Okay.
And at the time it was freaking expensive. It sounds it.
Yeah. So I
You know
guess
what I mean?
I guess that adds more pressure as well at the time when things are taking a bit of time and kind of need it to use it.
Oh, and they were calling him every single day, like, hurry up, and he was like, nope. It's got to be right, man.
Trusted.
Yeah.
What about for you, Zach? I mean, you've got such a distinctive voice on the instrument. That's not easy to get. For so many of the viewers, and even guys like myself, you still sort of struggle to find your voice as a player, and you got that very early on. Is there any hacks to sort of getting there quicker, or what was your method for finding that on the guitar?
I think I've always tried to be myself when it comes to guitar, because in this band I'm not the singer, I'm a backup singer, but so my voice is that. And especially when it comes to live, and on the records, Eric plays a ton of guitar too. So there's a lot of back and forth with Eric and I. But to me, just being myself.
But you'll also grab the bass or go in and play the piano.
Shine Out Records is a free for all.
Yeah.
It's instrumental wise. We all play everything, so it's like I've seen Eric go in there and redo redo a drum fill because Barry was gone, so we'll switch off a lot too. But, if whether I write the riff or Eric writes the riff, I have to make it my own somehow. And I think how I do that is just, I don't try to, I've always played for the song. It's never been about me. I don't want, I don't want it to be about me. I'm a team. This is a team, and I'm a team guy. And so for me to, any song really is to make it my own. I come from Memphis. I'm a blues guy. So there's going to be a little bit of that no matter what I do. And I think that comes out, and I think that shows. And, I'm glad that people can know it's me when I'm playing. And that's again, I'm not playing for the song is a lost art in this day and age with YouTube and all these guys that sit in gamer chairs and go, woo. It's like, all right, man, I love it. Listen, they're incredibly talented. It's like, all right, well, write a song.
Yeah.
Do that. Do, you know, and like make it your own voice. And that's, to me, those are the important things. Like I don't need to be the fastest gun in the West. You know what I mean? I don't want to, and I don't want to be. I have no interest.
So I guess it's just knowing what you want to say with the instrument.
He also has to be really diverse live, though, as well, because when we make these records, there's a lot of overlay and there's a lot of technique inside of like what we're doing just from a sonical, you know, approach to it and what have you. So he's got a lot on his shoulders live, and he learns how to kind of manipulate and kind of master what techniques he has to for live. It's not easy. Like, he's my favorite guitar player on the planet.
Oh, well, thank you.
But he's not, it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm in a band with him. Like, I mean, he really, like, when I watch how innovative he, like, sometimes he has no choice. Like, he has to figure out, how do I become 3 to 4 people at a time?
How do I play an acoustic guitar while playing electric guitar and holding an EBow and like...
And then singing, like, at the same time.
Yeah.
I think
like, there's a lot going on.
I think a lot of people think it's like, that there's these guitars on track. No, there's not. That's me. That's me doing all that.
Has that ever been a consideration, having the tracks?
No, I mean, we run string tracks. We run, listen, you know, people that I hate this debate so much because people talk about it all the time. It's like, we don't run. Oh, how fucking virtuous of you. So proud of you. Fucking, so who cares?
But if you're
well, guess what? Queen did it.
Yeah, but if you're a live
Shut
show,
the fuck up.
if you're at a live show, and depending on what's getting, you know, some people run.
If you
the
can't
full
do the
vocal.
show, if you can't do the show without it, don't do that.
Yeah.
But you know, like,
don't do that.
Here's the thing: if you stopped our string tracks or you stop it, it's going to sound exactly the same. You're just going to go, I swear to God, there was a violin here a second ago. And that's the thing, is like, when we make these records, they're a huge piece of art. Like Second Chance, no one wants to hear Second Chance without the orchestra. I don't, and I don't think anyone else does. You know, so it's like, it's funny to see. But when people are like, oh, all these guitars, I'm like, dude, I'm playing every single. Trust me, I would, if I was putting that on track, I wouldn't have 3 guitars on at one time and hold an EBow. You know, like, that stuff is funny to me. But it's, you know, it does help you become creative live. You know, like you said, I got to sit and figure out how to be 3 people because I recorded 3 guitar tracks.
Yeah.
So I like that. The challenge is fun, man.
You do incredible job. But now this one's a little bit of a silly one, but my first hearing you guys was on one of the WWE pay-per-views. You were like on like No Mercy or one of these ones like 20 years ago. Who the fuck are these guys? Amazing. Now you've done the Raw soundtrack, all that.
Yeah.
Now,
WWE has actually played every single that we've ever released off of a record. They have always been super, super supportive of this band, and we appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Neil.
Yeah.
And you know, Kane is now the mayor of your hometown.
He is. I did an interview with him.
How is he?
He gave me the key to the county.
Do you not know this? Do you not know this?
No.
So Kane is the mayor of Knoxville.
Well, yeah, I know he's
Wrestler Kane's the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. We surprised Brent.
Glenn Jacobs.
We surprised Brent with they were going to give Brent a key to the city. So I'm on with our security guy on a FaceTime call with Glenn Jacobs, Kane from WWE, and I'm texting our security guy underneath the table going, dude, I'm going to ask him the most ridiculous question. He's like, do not ask him to come out to like his theme music. I'm like, I'm going to fucking do it. And so I was like, you can absolutely say no to this. I go, well, we have this huge production, huge video wall, fire. I would go, when you do it, could we like stop the show, play your music, and you walk out? He's like, absolutely. So there's a video of it online of Kane coming out to the Kane theme song and giving
fire and everything. I had no idea.
Giving Brent
Zero.
the key to the city. He had no idea what was going to happen.
Gave me the key to the county.
Yeah.
Well,
And the key was made by my high school's wood shop.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Yeah. It was so cool.
well, I hope someone shouted, "Oh my God, it's Kane!"
Hopefully there's a JR over though.
Yeah.
Look, guys, I know you need to get. You've got an incredible show coming up tonight, acoustic show, and final one before I let you go. Volume 3, we're gonna see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be more Spend the Myers. We just we're in there's a lot of shine down time that needs to happen right now. But I think Spend the Myers will always be a project of some sort.
Beautiful. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for taking the time.
It was our absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
See you again.
Appreciate it.